Tom Brady being so great is that sometimes people don't realize how great he actually was.
Firstly, I'm going to say you guys have been talking about Tom Brady a lot in the comment section. So now we're going to see if he's about what you guys say.
If he's worth the hype.
Hopefully he'll show some highlights as well.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's commonly accepted he's the GOAT. But because everyone accepts his NFL dominance during his 23-year career, huge accomplishments get glossed over. You don't even know about some of his most insane feats. Brady is the single greatest football player ever.
Big statement.
And no one will ever surpass him.
Damn.
And for anyone with an argument against that, you'll see why you're wrong. This is the Gridiron.
Ooh,
Tom Brady was born on August 3rd, 1977 in San Mateo, California, about 20 miles from San Francisco. Naturally, he grew up a 49ers fan and a huge Joe Montana fan, idolizing him. Brady attended Niners games at Candlestick Park and was even in attendance at the 1981 NFC Championship game where Montana threw the catch to Dwight Clark. One of the most famous moments in the NFL's rich history. Though Brady was only 4 at the time, perhaps that moment cemented itself in his mind forever, and maybe even subconsciously inspired him to have similar plays in his career. Brady.
So he saw a legendary moment and said, as a kid, like, it went into his cognitive to be like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be that guy.
I will be this for the next generation.
Respect it, though.
Yeah.
He was the 4th child to his parents and an only son. Sports were an enormous part of his childhood. He played football, baseball, and basketball at Junipero Serra High School.
He grew up dealing with 3 women. That already shows his talent. Well done, Tom Brady.
As a freshman, he made the Padres JV football team, but he was only the backup. He was not good enough to start for a team that was 0-8 and hadn't scored a touchdown all year. That's enough to make a kid think that football wasn't for him. But the starter did get injured, and Brady stepped in. Sound familiar? Though he played well, it appeared Brady's talent was as a baseball player.
What?
A left-handed batting catcher, Brady garnered interest from MLB scouts. He was actually drafted by the Montreal Expos in the 1995 MLB draft. Even that's enough to make a kid think that football wasn't for him. Maybe baseball was. However, when Brady found out there was interest in him playing football for the Michigan Wolverines, he chose that path instead. An interesting part of Brady's college academic career. He did a summer internship at Merrill Lynch. He learned lessons there that would stick with him throughout his life. But Brady's college football career didn't start off with such excitement. He was a redshirt freshman in the 1995 season. Brady then served as the backup in the 96 and 97 seasons, in the shadow of Brian Griese, who led the 97 Wolverines to an undefeated season.
You know, a lot of these like legendary players who end up being like the best of the best, they're always like a substitute at first. They don't kind of come in just absolutely being this superstar from day one and this super hot talent. They were literally bench warmers. They came on here and there and then eventually got recognized.
And they made their impact while they did have the opportunity on the field.
Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah.
Finally, Brady earned the right to start and did so for the entirety of the 1998 and 1999 seasons. But for the first 7 games of the 99 season, Brady had to split his starting role with Drew Henson, playing the first quarter, Henson playing the second, and then the coach deciding who played the second half. Despite the uncertainty, Brady had big moments. Against Penn State, he led his team to a fourth quarter comeback, winning 31-27.
Wow.
In the last regular season game, tied with Ohio State 17-17 with 5 minutes left, Brady led the Wolverines to the game-winning score. He also led Michigan to an overtime win in the Orange Bowl against Alabama, throwing for 369 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You know what's tough as well, now that I think about it? Like, you're not just competing against the opposition and doing your best against the opposition, you need to do your best to keep your position in the team. Otherwise, you're replaced. Like these two are fighting
Who gets to play
back
the
to
second
back.
half? Yeah.
Like you're up against them, but you're up against
Your own teammates
Yeah,
at
it's
the same
quite
time.
that's
Yeah.
quite nuts.
Even with all that success, when Brady entered the 2000 NFL Draft, he slipped all the way to the 199th pick.
Damn, that's
Every
low.
team passed on him multiple times until the New England Patriots chose him as a backup quarterback
Backup.
yet again. Brady's first year in the NFL was in 2000. He sat behind Drew Bledsoe and John Freese and Michael Bishop. That's right, Brady was 4th on the depth chart.
That is nuts.
He only had 3 pass attempts, 1 completion, and 6 yards. The Pats were 5-11. Once again, he was not good enough to start on a bad team.
Damn.
One of Brady's best qualities is his mental toughness. There are big games throughout his career, big moments. But just think how strong-minded you have to be to endure all these setbacks. At this stage of Brady's career, no one expected anything from him. He was simply a backup. But in the 2001 season, he got his chance. Drew Bledsoe went down with an injury, and Brady made the most of his chance.
Tom Brady, the second year.
Sounds like Barry Sanders when he had that finally got that opportunity and he just took it and made the most of it.
Yep.
Then they realized, okay, he needs to play more.
Quarterback from the University of Michigan.
In Brady's 14 starts that year, the Patriots were 11-3, going 11-5 overall and winning the AFC East. He threw 18 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. It was rocky at times, but the Patriots were in the playoffs. On an unbelievable run led by the 199th pick in the draft, the Patriots made it to the Super Bowl and faced the St. Louis Rams, who they beat 20-17. It was a fairy tale story for Brady. That could have been his only Super Bowl win. His career could have continued on modestly, and he would have still forever been remembered in New England and all around the NFL. But Brady's mental toughness wouldn't allow him to settle. The very next year, Brady led his team to another winning record, 9-7, second in the AFC East, and his 28 passing touchdowns led the league. However, the Patriots missed the playoffs. No worries, adversity is just an opportunity for mental toughness to shine.
True.
The 2003 Patriots went 14-2 and won the division once more. They made it back to the Super Bowl and beat the Panthers 32-29.
Wow.
And 2004 was the deja vu year. They won the division again, went 14-2 again, back to the Super Bowl and won it
Again.
Teams rarely repeat at Super Bowl champs. Brady's 03 and 04 Pats were the last to do it. Brady was now one of only 5 quarterbacks to win 3 or more Super Bowls, including his idol Joe Montana with 4. So would Brady dial it back? Take the huge paydays that he deserved? No. While Brady was still compensated heavily, he took pay cuts so that the team could do more with better players.
You know what? Respect to that. Because one thing I will say, when we watched the Barry Sanders version of this, they paid him so much compared to his team. I think the amount was ridiculous. Not saying he don't deserve it, he deserves it. But then that's probably, I did make a point where they probably struggled financially to bring the team's players into the team to work with Barry, but they probably couldn't afford it, or things were tight, right?
Yeah, and also it was very clear watching the games that he was carrying the matches as well.
Which is what they're paying for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then it puts the pressure on him, and that's probably why he retired early.
Yeah.
To continue like that for that paycheck, and the paycheck keeps going up, but you need to keep delivering. But then the money's going into Barry and no one else. Then can they afford to bring that second guy that Barry needs to excel further? Probably not. So respect to him, he said, you know what, forget my paycheck. I know what we can do with the right players. Pay these guys to come in. Not barely anyone will do that. I've never heard that in my life. Who does that? They'll say, nah, my pocket, that's it.
His competitive drive was a key
Respect.
factor in the Patriots' success over the next decade and a half. Brady led the Patriots to 17 division titles,
Damn. There we
13
go.
AFC championship games, 9 Super Bowl appearances, and 6 Super Bowl wins.
Wow.
Perhaps none
That's crazy.
more iconic than the greatest comeback of all time. Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, down 28-3 midway through the third quarter. Brady and the Pats somehow managed to come back, send it to overtime, and win it 34-28. On the way to creating history, he went back to a childhood memory and channeled his inner Joe Montana when he threw a pass to Julian Edelman for a highlight reel catch. It may not be known across the NFL as the catch, but in New England, it's known as that catch. In beating the Falcons, Brady snagged his 5th Super Bowl win, surpassing his idol Joe Montana and every other quarterback, now becoming the quarterback with the most Super Bowl wins.
He wanted legacy, not money. That's the difference of him and some other players. He wanted legendary status, which he's got now.
It's good for him, man. It just shows that, he wasn't given the right opportunities, but he kept pushing. And he found a team who thought, you know what? I could work on this.
So
and
many
look where he
people
took
would
the
have
team
given
as
up
well. Yeah.
early, way before. He's definitely got mental toughness, as they said.
Ever. But he was still tied with defensive end Charles Haley for most Super Bowl wins by any player, though that only lasted a couple more years. Brady won his 6th Super Bowl against the Rams and made more history. By the time Brady's career in New England came to an end, he left a mark on a franchise like no one else ever did before. On March 20th, 2020, Brady joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a new team after 2 decades. It proved to be an immense challenge for Brady. The year was rocky for the Bucs, but they managed to get into the playoffs as the 5 seed. Even with that low seed, they beat Washington. They beat Drew Brees and the Saints.
Nice kick.
And they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, all on the road. Then they faced off against the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs and beat the brakes off of them 31-9.
They battered them.
Brady had won it all in his first year with a new team and secured Super Bowl number 7, an untouchable achievement.
For him to do that with a new team shows how much impact he had, where he was able to bring that experience over to the new team and do exactly that there.
And it just shows the talent he has as an individual as well. It's not just the whole team, but it's him as an individual.
I felt like I feel like the difference of him and Barry Sanders. I felt like Barry Sanders was the star player. He was the superstar. Like, just give him the ball, he's going to run and he's going to do a madness. With him, I feel like he's a player you bring in, but he's got that stardom to him, but he does it in a way where he lifts the people around him. So he's not like, he might stand out, but he's not going to stand out like crazy. But the team as a whole will be uplifted, and their performance as a team is going to be astonishing.
Was he captain? For
Probably.
this team?
I'm assuming they probably made him
Must
captain.
be, yeah.
With the paychecks he got at the end with this new team, I'm sure they probably put him as captain and stuff.
There are
Comment below, guys. You guys know better than us.
so many ways to put Brady's greatness into perspective.
That was good.
It's like looking at a work of art through 100 different windows. But there are some good ways to look at it. In 2007, Brady was the first quarterback to ever throw for 50 touchdowns in a season.
Damn.
He did
That's a
so
lot.
while only throwing 8 interceptions. The only other 2 quarterbacks to hit or clear 50 touchdowns in a season are Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning. But both did so while throwing double-digit interceptions. His career regular season passing touchdowns, 649, is the most ever. 3 other quarterbacks have surpassed 500. No one else has passed 600. His career regular season passing yardage, 89,214 yards, is the most ever. The next closest is about 9,000 yards behind
Nowhere
him.
near.
His 89,214 yards is difficult to picture. Try thinking of it as 50.68 miles, or enough distance to reach the peak of Mount Everest 9 times.
That's mad.
But perhaps the best way to see just how good Tom Brady actually was is this. Here are 6 career stat lines.
Passing touchdowns, passing yards, regular season wins, and Super Bowl wins. 1 to 6. All right. Let's see what they say about it.
The first is Hall of Famer John Elway. The second is Tom Brady in
So that's Tom Brady in his 30s.
his 30s.
Okay.
The third is Hall of Famer Steve Young. The fourth is Tom Brady in his
So each 10 years he's done is like he's basically his own player.
40s.
And
Top
then
player.
give it a
Is
sixth
Hall
one.
of Famer
Watch.
Troy Aikman.
50s or something.
The sixth
20s,
is Tom
alright.
Brady in his 20s. Think about
20s.
that. The man hasn't just had a Hall of Fame career, he's had 3 of them.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And amazingly, Brady has a career that can stand alone as a Hall of Fame career if it consisted solely of games he played aged 40 and over.
Wow.
All other players are on the decline at 40. Brady was rising to new heights. That is why no one will ever touch Tom Brady.
No.
It isn't good enough to be great. You have to be great 3 times in one life. Then maybe, just maybe, you could talk.
The guy commentating is definitely a Tom Brady fan.
But
He's so
put
passionate
the
about
video
it.
very well together.
He did. He was
Yeah.
very, very passionate.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Tom Brady as an athlete? Just your first time, first impression.
I think he's amazing. Like, he didn't let anything put him down. He didn't let anything stop him. He went into a team. He probably had opportunity to go somewhere else, but he thought, you know what? I'm happy with the paycheck. It's enough for me. I'm going to uplift this team. And look what it got him.
He saw the
One Super Bowl was
destination.
for the team.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. He saw the final vision
Yeah.
and he knew how to get there.
Yeah.
And he knew taking that paycheck's not going to get
And
there.
look at the impact he's had. We've had so many comments. React to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No wonder why.
No wonder
oh
why.
my gosh.
Guys, thank you so much for the comments. We didn't know about Tom Brady until you guys recommended it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep suggesting videos like this. We are reading the comments, so we on it. For now, peace out.
Bye.